In the next few lessons, we're going to have a look at plotting graphs. And we're going to start by looking at linear graphs. In other words, straight line graphs. At the top on the left-hand side here, we have an equation, a formula that connects a value of x with a value of y. We have two variables, x and y. If I give you a value of x and multiply it by 2 and then add the value of y to it, it must always equal 10. And for this reason, if I give you a value of x, I can find you a value of y. And if you give me a value of y, I can give you the associated value of x. These x and y values will be coordinates on a set of axes, which will form a graph. Today we're not going to draw the graph, but we're going to find those coordinates. And we're going to look at x values, and you can see that on the table, between 0 and 4. In fact, we're going to have a look at all the whole numbers between 0 and 4. 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And we're going to substitute those values of x into the formula, one at a time, to find the value of y, which will be the lower row on the table. We'll do this one value at a time, making it clear exactly what we're doing by laying out our work carefully. So we'll start with the value which is in this column here of x equals 0. When x equals 0, if we look at the formula at the top, we've got 2x, where x is 0, so that becomes 2 times 0, add y equals 10. So we've taken the formula at the top of the page and we've written it out again, but we've substituted in 0 in place of the x. Now 2 times 0 is 0. Add y gives us simply y on the left hand side is equal to 10. So our first value in our table is when x is 0, y is 10. Now we'll do the same when x equals 1, the next column across in the table. So we write down, we're looking at x equals 1. So we substitute in 2 times x becomes 2 times 1, add y equals 10. So 2 times 1 is 2, add y equals 10. And we can see by inspection that 2 add something is 10, so y must equal 8. And that's the second value in our table. Now let's have a look at the third column, where x equals 2. So x equals 2 gives us 2 multiplied by 2 in place of 2x, or 2 multiplied by x, add y equals 10. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, add y equals 10. And by inspection, 4 add something is 10, so y equals 6. So the next value in our table is 6. Now we've run out of space, but there's no problem with that. We'll just, as neatly as we can, give ourselves some space on the right hand side, as long as it's very clear as to what we're doing each time. And now we're going to have a look at this column, where x equals 3. So we've got 2 times x, so 2 times 3, add y equals 10. 2 times 3 is 6, add y equals 10. 6 add something is 10. By inspection, we can see that y equals 4. So the next value in our table is 4. And finally, looking at the last value in our table, where x equals 4, x equals 4 gives us 2 multiplied by 4, add y equals 10. Again, substituting into the same original formula at the top of the page. 2 times 4 is 8, add y equals 10. So 8 add y equals 10 by inspection, y equals 2. And that's the last value in our table. To To make it clear where those values came from, we'll just highlight those pairs. So when x equals 0, y equals 10. And you can see 0 and 10 in the table. When x equals 1, y equals 8. And you can see that in the next column. When x equals 2, y equals 6. When x equals 3, y equals 4. And finally, when x equals 4 and y equals 2. And that's the last space in our table. And that's what we're looking to do today. What I'd like you to do now is pause the video, copy this down, and in the middle part of this table, explain the process and how we laid out our workings. I'd like you to lay it out almost virtually the same as I've done there, showing every step of the workings. Once you've done that, have a go at the question on the right-hand side. Pause the video now and play it on when you're ready to go through the answer on the right-hand side. So let's have a look at the question on the right-hand side. Again, we've got a very similar formula, and we're looking for the values of x between 0 and 4, and we're looking to find the values of y. Now, let's take one value of x at a time. So let's start with x equals 0. When x equals 0, 2 times 0 plus y equals 12. So that gives us y equals 12. So the first missing value in our table is 12. Now, the next value is when x equals 1. Now, 2 multiplied by 1 plus y equals 12. 2 times 1 is 2, so 2 add y equals 12. In other words, y equals 10. So the next value in our table is 10. Next up, x equals 2. So 2 multiplied by 2, add y equals 12. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, so it's 4 add y equals 12. By inspection, we can see that means that y equals 8. So we're very clear which calculation's which. We'll put a line down here, and the next one will go here. So x equals 3. 2 multiplied by 3, add y is 12. 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, so 6 add y is 12. What number fits in there? Well, 6 add 6 is 12. So y equals 6. And that goes in our table here. Then finally, x equals 4. 2 multiplied by 4, in place of 2 multiplied by x, add y equals 12. 2 times 4 is 8, add y is 12, and the missing number is y equals 4. And that's the missing number in our table.